Hello everyone, welcome to my very first video that I taped myself. I wanted to show you some of the hand-carved stamps that I've made recently. I had gotten started with this a while ago, ended up gouging my hand a couple times and gave it up. Then I found this Speedy Carve rubber. This is by Speedball, and it comes in, this is a 4x6 sheet. It's called Speedy Carve. Oops. Made by Speedball. I bought this online just because I happened to be ordering some stencils from Artist Cellar, C-E-L-L-A-R, and they had it in a 4x6, which is the one I just showed you, and also an 8x10, I think it was, for a few dollars more. Anyway, very economical. So my very first stamp that I carved was this little daisy with a little heart in it and little leaves coming out the top. And there's a picture of this, a stamp picture on my blog at laurenswhimsy.blogspot.com. So you can take a look at that if you want to see the what the stamp looks like when it's stamped. So then the one I just did today, pardon me, is this tree. I can get it in the window here. And what I was doing, I had started trying to carve into, or cut into, some Tim Holtz make-your-own-mask material. And I cut out a couple of trees. And one of them looked like this, and the other one looked like this. And I thought, oh, wouldn't that make a cool stamp? So I grabbed the piece of rubber that I had left over from the flower and traced them out onto the pink rubber and then carved them with the Speedball carving tool. And it looks a whole lot more complicated than it is. You do need to be a little patient. But all you do is, let's see, where is my Speedy tool? This is a tool that's made by Speedball. You can see it says Speedball. And it comes with 5 different tips that screw into the top there. This is the finest tip. So you would use this to trace around your design, to trace out the design itself. And then as you get to bigger spots, you can switch to some of the wider nibs. So this is one of the wider nibs. Here's one that's even a little bit wider. And one that's narrow but deep. And it comes with a little knife. I have not mastered the use of the knife yet. But really not terribly difficult at all. The Frugal Crafter has a great video on her blog, and she was actually the motivating force for me to get started. So some of the other stuff I made, I was just playing around with a little leftover piece of rubber and just created this little pattern, I guess you'd call it, and an eyeball. Oops. Eyeball. And then I made a little heart. And I also took a couple pieces. These are just leftover pieces of rubber, and they made great little arcs. So I was looking for an eyebrow. So they made kind of a cool eyebrow. Sorry, my finger's in the way there. Then you can also carve on erasers. So I had a couple erasers laying around. I carved out this little chevron design. And I have to give Julie Bowser credit for this. She has a stamp carving class, and in some of the pictures I noticed that a lot of her students had carved these chevron designs, and she has a stencil with chevrons too, I believe. And on the other side, because I wanted to be frugal and I just didn't have a lot of erasers around, I made this little just kind of spirally design, and I'll show you what they look like in a second. Then I had another eraser, and I just created this spiral with a heart in the center. It's hard to see on the rubber itself. And on the other side, I took I found this thing at Central Market, which is a grocery store out here in the Dallas area, and it's a scrubber for like the grill. And I took the end of it and put some ink on it, and I stamped it onto this eraser, and then I carved around it. And let's see what else. I was mounting some rubber on Easy Mount foam, and I had this leftover piece, and I thought, oh, that might make kind of a cool little, I don't know, just kind of fidget stamp or whatever for art journaling. And here's another one that was just a little leftover piece of rubber, and I cut some notches in it. And I'll show you what those look like. So the other stamp I made is this, and this is made from some of that magic foam. And all you do is heat this up and then press something into it. And what I did was I used that scrubber, the long end of the scrubber. It's let me show you what it looks like. Oh, those are my distress markers, my new distress markers. Yay, I'm so excited. Okay, so here's what the scrubber looks like. So that's the side that I pressed into the stamp, and that's the end that I stamped with ink and pressed into the eraser and carved around it. So again, all you do with this is you heat it up, you press something into it, and you get a stamp. Pretty cool. So let me show you what they look like. So this isn't terribly pretty, but this is just my scrap sheet. So you can see the two big horizontal things are the magic foam stamp that I made with the scrubber as a model. And then there's the heart in the center of the spiral. And then up in the corner here we have that just random design that I used the end of the scrubber for. And let's see, here's the little chevron guy over here. Sorry if I'm making anybody dizzy. And then the other side of the chevron is, I'm sure I'm making you dizzy. I apologize. This is my first video with my phone. Okay, there's the little spirally design. And the little pieces of rubber look like that. I'm not sure what I'll do with those, but that's what they look like. The trees, so here's the trees. Here's one of them. Let's see if I can get it in the picture there. There's probably a better version of it there. And then here's the other one. And I cut out a couple of those pieces you can see don't really look attached. I did end up cutting those out. But if you look at the bottom of the trunk of the tree, you'll see a little indent on the left side. That was kind of a miss with the knife, but I thought it gave it a little bit of character. So anyway, the Frugal Crafter has a really nice tutorial for how to use the Speedy Carve and how to carve your own stamps. And I recommend that you go over to her site. I think it's thefrugalcrafter.blogspot.com, but you can certainly find it in a search. And it really was a ton of fun. I'm just like racking my brain of what else can I carve. So if you're looking for some original art to use in your artwork, carve your own stamps. Have fun. Bye.